We're talking Nets-Lakers from Saturday night. Nets without Harden. Lakers without basically everyone, it seemed like. But they put on a show defensively. And the Nets, they got outplayed underneath all night long. Lakers win big. How big? Dennis Schroeder calling it the best win of the year. 8 players in double digits for the Lakers. Meanwhile, Nets offense with KD still on a minutes restriction, never quite kicked it into gear. Broussard, let's kick it off with you. This Lakers blowout of the Brooklyn Nets, big deal or no big deal?
Well, I'm sure Nick thinks it was a big deal. Or like Brandon, he'll say it was just for TV. But I agree with Schroeder. I agree with Dennis Schroeder. This was their best win of the year. But no, it's not a big deal. Now, I'm going to surprise Nick, I think. I won't say it's a 0 on a scale of 1 to 10. So I think there's some little bit of significance to it, which I'll get to in a moment. But no, overall, it's not a big deal. Give the Lakers credit. Give them props. They came out and balled. They knew they were shorthanded, not only without LeBron and AD, but as you mentioned, Jenna, Kuzma, Marc Gasol, practically the whole team. And they came out with a heightened sense of intensity playing a big team like Brooklyn. They hit 19 of 34 threes, which we know is uncharacteristic and not likely to happen very often with them. But give them their props. Brooklyn took them lightly, and they paid for it. But here's the thing. It was 1 of 72. This happens in the NBA. Was it a big deal last week when New Orleans beat a fully healthy Philadelphia? No. Was it a big deal 2 weeks ago when Orlando, completely depleted by the trade deadline, beat the Clippers? No. So this is not a big deal. However, here's one thing that I think the Lakers can really take from this. You saw, and you saw it on the highlight, the way Andre Drummond just beasted LaMarcus Aldridge all night long. The Lakers do have the formula where they could give Brooklyn problems. I've said it about Philadelphia, but Philadelphia probably won't do it. But you got an inside presence like Drummond. You got a guy like LeBron who can control the tempo of the whole game. All right, if he's got the ball in his hands, he can make it a slower game, a faster game, whatever he wants. And then you've got one of the top defenses in the league. And if your role players are hitting threes, that's all the more better. So they can make it tough on Brooklyn because they can play a style that the finesse Nets may not be comfortable with. But still, I've still got Brooklyn in a 7-game series. But Lakers can take something from this.
Well, yeah. Lakers, I would say, might be able to take quite a bit. Because, how a tone has at least slightly changed from, it's over, Jenna. It's over. Let me do my Kenny Smith impersonation. They're unbeatable. To, there's a little formula. Andre Drummond, who, by the way, I don't know if anyone knows this, Andre Drummond, 3-0 against the Nets this year. Now, in the Nets' defense, Andre Drummond has been on a great team for all 3 games, the Pistons and the depleted Lakers. So why would he be 3-0 against the Nets? Because they don't have size. And that has been the problem all year. And the other problem all year, Broussard, the Lakers aren't going to hit 50% from 3 many games. Well, when you're playing an abjectly terrible defense, you might. I'm old enough to remember Broussard saying, no. The Nets, they're not going to be great on defense, but they won't be terrible. Well, it's damn near tax day, and they're 25th. I have a fun trivia question. What do Oklahoma City, Detroit, Cleveland, Orlando, and Atlanta all have in common? They are all better defenses than the 25th ranked Brooklyn Nets. And Harden coming back ain't going to fix that. Kyrie not getting kicked out ain't gonna fix that. Kevin Durant being on a minutes restriction ain't gonna. Kevin Durant's a good defensive player. You know what he can't do? Have somebody bodying him because he's as thin as I am. So I just wonder, all losses are not created equal. When you lose a game because a team can expose what is your Achilles heel, that's a little concerning. And Brandon, you guys got to get through Giannis. Then you got to get through Embiid. Then you got to get through Andre Drummond. And if Drummond has an off night, the Lakers do have Anthony Davis and LeBron to support him in their quest to beat the Nets if they get there. It's problematic, I think.
You know what makes you good on television, Nick, and why I respect you? Is because you know what you're talking about. You do the work, kinda. and then you're obnoxious when you're right. You're obnoxious. Those are the two things that make you really good on television,
Yeah,
buddy.
the obnoxious
And that's why
part
this is
helps.
a big deal, because you were done.
Wow.
This game brought you back to life. With this whole discussion around the Lakers and the Nets, that's why this game was a big deal, is because they brought you back to life, and all your points talking about defense and talking about rim protection. You're like, come on, man. We know at the end of the day it was one game. They were dry from the three-point line. 18% from the Nets. Where was the help from the bench?
Yeah, that's sad.
Shamet, where were you? Blake Griffin, where were you? Jeff Green, where were you? Where were these guys? They were non-existent. And then you're talking about Kevin Durant on the pitch count. Harden didn't play. And then you get your boy Kyrie ejected when they were within 4 points in the third quarter, 9 minutes to go. So that was the reason why they lost this game. But at the end of the day, big picture, they can't see the Nets. They can't see them. So great job, Lakers. Great job getting it done with nobody on the team on Saturday. So you gotta give them the respect. But at the end of the day, Wilds, we know the big picture. You know, the Nets is going to take it. We know it.
Okay, I do not know that. I was more concerned than anyone on the crew besides maybe Nick. And Broussard, you called them the finesse Nets. I think that is an apt description, because whereas, as you like to say, a team needs a dog on the team. The team needs somebody with like a little intensity. Who is that for the Nets? Is it Kevin Durant? He certainly can be mean on Instagram. I don't know if he's mean on the court. Is it Blake Griffin, the comedian? Who's the mean person? Who's your Draymond? Who's your Kevin Garnett? Who is your even scowling LeBron? Because you can say it's one game, but it wasn't a buzzer beater on the road. You got blown out at home when 3 of the Lakers' 4 best players are wearing different varying degrees of fashion on the sidelines. I thought it was concerning that they didn't seem to have that bully mentality that a champion needs.
No, look, I disagree with that. Now, is there a dog? Is there a goon on that team? No. But Jeff Green's not a pushover, and they are finesse overall.
Jeff, we're to the Jeff
but
Green segment of
DeAndre
the
Jordan's
season?
got size. No, hold on. Nick said they don't have size. LaMarcus Aldridge is bigger, taller at least, than Drummond. He's listed as taller, I believe.
bigger, too.
You
I
got
think
size there.
28%
You
body
got
fat.
DeAndre Jordan. You can throw DeAndre Jordan in there. So they've got enough size.
he don't
all right,
play.
look,
You know what?
that is not their strength. That is not their strength.
Yeah, no, it's
being
not.
tough inside.
It's not.
But they're tough enough. Same as defense, Nick. They're adequate enough. The Lakers last year couldn't shoot threes. They are. You keep going back to 25th. That's based on earlier in the season.
That's their
They
ranking.
have improved defensively. There's no doubt about that. You know that. And that's why, like Brandon said, you were comatose the last 2 weeks as they were running through everybody. Now you're back to life. It's good to see you back.
I was not comatose. I have been in the exact same place the whole time. There are 2 glaring weaknesses with the team, and they haven't addressed them. And by the way, spoiler alert, America, LaMarcus Aldridge ain't fixing it. Oh, you almost saw in this game why a Spurs team that could make the playoffs